Hello there, Cancer. Welcome to your weekly tarot video scope. This is for the week of February the 5th through the 11th. I am going to be pulling one card for each day. We'll see what comes up on the cards and we'll layer that in with what shows up psychically and take a peek at what your week holds. If you guys find benefit from this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it out to somebody else who might find benefit from it as well. And of course, leave comments down below. All of that stuff helps with the logarithm. And I appreciate any help I can get in growing this tiny little channel. All right, so let's jump in and get started, Cancers. Here's what we have. First of all, Monday, Ace of Cups showing up in reverse. Now, the Ace of Cups just means that somebody is showing you their true colors. And this may even be somebody that you sort of had on a pedestal. And so once you see that they are who they are, you're not as impressed with them as you used to be, okay? So one great example of this is when we hit about 8 or 9 and we realize our parents are not all-knowing, all-being, all-answering. They don't have all the answers, and sometimes they make mistakes. And usually it's around 8, 9, 12, something like that we realize that, and it totally changes how we see them. I'm sure a lot of you can remember that moment and relate to that. This is what this is like, and it may or may not be parents. I think most of the people watching this video are grown-ups, so probably somebody else that they just do something or they say something and you go, oh, wow, I didn't know that was something that you would say or that you would do. So a little bit disappointing, I think. Like I said, a lot of times we have people on pedestals that probably shouldn't be on pedestals, and this is our realization that, whoa, let's kick that pedestal out from under them because doesn't belong. All right, so let's move on to Tuesday. Tuesday's a little bit of an interesting day. We've got the Wheel of Fortune showing up in reverse. This just means that whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish today is going to take a little bit more effort and elbow grease than usual. There are some kind of obstacles, delays, distractions, something like that coming up. The other thing that this Wheel of Fortune in reverse card says is that this is not a good time to ask for something like a pay raise or a bonus or a favor, or, this is not the best timing to choose for something like that. Okay, so there's that. Let's see what Wednesday has for us. Okay, Wednesday, we're seeing the 10 of Wands showing up in reverse. This just means that we are seeing you guys dropping some kind of responsibility. And so this may be taking the day off work. This could be maybe you normally drive your parents to the grocery store on Wednesday and you're not doing that this Wednesday. But there's some kind of responsibility that you're not carrying today that you normally do carry. Wow, and that card just kind of like flew out of my hand to the board, almost in perfect place all by itself. I don't think I've ever had that. I've had them flip out when I'm shuffling, but not while I'm showing them. Okay, let's look at, I think that means that whatever this responsibility is you're dropping Wednesday, I think you're picking it back up again Thursday, maybe even before Wednesday's over. All right, let's look at Thursday. Thursday, what we have showing up is our Tower card. Now, a Tower card does talk about a major shakeup, and this is a shakeup that comes about because we have a situation that really has an awful foundation. And so this is sort of shaking everything up so that we can have a chance to rebuild it with a better foundation. So when the shakeup comes in, this is when that we end up in the long run in a better situation, but it can actually take our breath away right when it first happens. And I want to look at if you're creating this shakeup or if this is an outside force, because it can go either way. But it feels different. If we create the shakeup, it feels like we're kind of in control of the chaos. If somebody else creates the shakeup, then that is a little bit more to bounce back from. Let's look at this. Is Cancer creating this? Okay, so we have an outside force that is creating this shakeup, which some of you may actually expect. Some of you are not going to expect as I'm looking at these cards. I think this is something that you've been, in a way, sort of wishing for, but not feeling brave enough to do this on your own. So I do think that somebody else is creating this shakeup, but it's not exactly unwanted. It's just not exactly planned for either. All right, let's look at Friday and see what's going on here. Friday, we have you showing up as the Queen of Wands. The fact that you're showing up as a queen the day after a tower tells me that this tower is not a terrible thing. You're actually coming back from it pretty fast. Queen of Wands talks about being very creative, thinking outside the box. She is fantastic at problem solving. Part of the reason she's so good at it is because she does not pay attention to what culture and society tell her things should be. She pays attention to what actually works. All right. So I think you're bouncing back really fast. Like I said, I think you were kind of wishing for this. You just weren't ready to instigate it. So it isn't like you haven't been thinking about how you're going to handle this situation that we see that happens on Thursday. Now let's look at your weekend. We start off with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse on Saturday. This just means that work is not getting accomplished on Saturday. So if you were planning on doing something around the house, if you were planning on clocking in for an employer or for your own business even, or if you were planning on doing some type of volunteer work, it ain't happening. Okay, you may as well just set a rain check right now, figure out when is going to be your makeup date. That's not happening. Now, on Sunday, Justice card. This tells me that you are making some kind of decision on Sunday that has to do with people in your sphere of influence. You've probably got one or the other, maybe both of them, asking you to pick sides. You are choosing. You are choosing. You are accommodating them in that you are picking sides, and you are making sure that you're doing the most fair choice that you possibly can here. I see this all the time for parents who have to mediate for their children to get along. And it can be like that. It can be this mundane when we're looking at cards for every day. But it feels a little bit more important to me than that. For a lot of you, this feels like a couple of friends who are kind of going at it that are asking you to make some kind of choice. Now, your choice may be one that helps them mediate, but I think for most of you, this is a choice where you kind of have to pick and favor one over the other. Okay? The way this card comes up, I don't think you have any trouble making that choice. I think it's pretty plain to you what is actually fair in this situation. Okay? So that's what we have for the week, Cancers. I am wishing you all the best. Peace out.